The Honda Navi just hums and begins its leisurely march forward. This is not a motorcycle built for the canyons of Malibu or the long stretches of the interstate. It is a tool designed for one specific mission, making the 2-mile trek to the grocery store or the campus library so effortless and cheap that you stop considering the Uber or the bus. It is the ultimate gateway drug to two wheels, disguised as a friendly, plastic-clad urban runabout. Frame, chassis, and build quality. When I first walked around the Navi, the lack of a traditional engine in the center of the frame was the first thing that caught my eye. Honda used a sturdy steel frame, but because the entire drivetrain is integrated into the rear swing arm like a scooter, they left a massive hole where the engine usually sits. I found this space occupied by a lockable 15-liter storage box, which is a brilliant bit of practical engineering. The build quality feels typical of Honda. The plastics are thick and do not rattle, even if the overall aesthetic leans toward budget-friendly. The weight distribution is definitely rear-heavy because that is where the engine and transmission live. I noticed this most when hopping over speed bumps or trying to loft the front wheel over a curb. The front end is incredibly light, while the rear feels planted. With a curb weight of only 234 pounds and a tiny 50.6-inch wheelbase, the chassis geometry is all about agility. I could flick this bike into a U-turn on a narrow sidewalk with room to spare. Power and drivetrain. I have to be honest, if you are looking for soul-stirring acceleration, you are looking at the wrong bike. The Navi is powered by a fan-cooled 109 cubic centimeter single-cylinder engine that is canted forward at 80 degrees. It's an old-school carbureted mill that prioritizes reliability over raw statistics. Because this is an urban commuter, the real story is the V-Matic automatic continuous variable transmission. The power delivery is linear and predictable. I found that from 0 to 30 miles per hour, the Navi is surprisingly peppy and stays ahead of most city traffic. However, once I crossed the 40-mile-per-hour mark, the little engine started to run out of breath. In my real-world testing, I struggled to see anything north of 55 miles per hour, especially with a slight headwind. Heat management is a non-issue given the fan cooling, but you have to remember this is a carbureted bike. On cold mornings, I had to be patient with the manual choke before it would settle into a steady idle. Suspension, brakes, and real-world handling. The suspension setup consists of a 26.8mm inverted telescopic fork and a single rear shock. On smooth pavement, it is plush enough, but I quickly discovered its limits on the pothole-ridden streets of the inner city. With only 3.5 inches of travel up front and less than 3 inches in the back, big bumps will send a sharp reminder through your spine. The braking system is where the budget nature of the Navi becomes most apparent. I'm dealing with 130mm mechanical drum brakes on both ends. There's no anti-lock braking system here, though Honda did include a combined braking system that links the rear pedal to the front brake to help keep the bike settled. I found the lever feel to be a bit mushy compared to the crisp bite of a hydraulic disc brake. I had to give myself a significant buffer when approaching intersections at speed because the stopping distances are noticeably longer than what I'm used to on a modern mini-moto like the Grom. The competition, real-world alternatives. The most obvious rival is Honda's own Grom. While the Navi costs around $2,000, the Grom sits closer to $3,600. I found that the extra money for the Grom buys you a 5-speed manual transmission, fuel injection, disc brakes, and an extra 10 miles per hour of top speed. If you are looking for a more traditional motorcycle feel, the Kawasaki Z125 Pro is another strong alternative. It offers better suspension and a more aggressive stance, but it lacks the Navi's integrated storage and twist-and-go simplicity. I would argue that if you are a brand new rider who is intimidated by shifting, or a seasoned rider looking for a pit bike that can also grab a 6-pack of soda, the Navi's lower price and ease of use make it a more logical choice than its pricier siblings. Limitations and the bitter truth. I have to address the 1-gallon elephant in the room.
The fuel tank capacity is officially 0.92 gallons. While Honda claims an optimistic 110 miles per gallon, my aggressive, wide-open throttle city riding saw me hitting the reserve at around 50 or 60 miles. I found myself at the gas station far more than I'd like, and because there's no digital fuel gauge, just a basic analog needle, range anxiety is a real factor if you plan on long commutes. The wheels are also tiny. A 12-inch rim up front and a 10-inch rim in the rear. This makes the bike feel nervous at its top speed and very sensitive to road grooves. Lastly, there's the licensing hurdle. Despite its small size and scooter-like operation, this is a street-legal motorcycle. In most states, I still needed my full M1 motorcycle endorsement to ride it legally on public roads, which might be a barrier for someone just looking for a scooter experience. The final verdict: buy or skip. Honda Navi is a masterclass in compromise that still feels like a win. Buy this if you live in a dense urban environment where your average speed rarely exceeds 45 miles per hour. You are on a strict budget and want a brand new machine with a factory warranty for the price of a well-used e-bike. You want the most approachable entry point into motorcycling without the steep learning curve of a manual clutch. Skip this if your daily commute involves any stretches of highway or roads with speed limits over 50 miles per hour. You weigh over 200 pounds and live in an area with steep hills. The 109 cubic centimeter engine will struggle. You want modern features like fuel injection, anti-lock brakes, or a digital dash.